We just released a new short film with basically zero budget. These are the struggles and problems we found along the way. This time around I decided I was going to do some storyboarding. It's something I had never really done before, but I thought might actually help us communicate to the crew and the actors and everybody involved and know what the shot's going to be before we even bother setting it up. So I used my Apple Pencil and my iPad to draw out some of the scenes that I thought were really important, and I really wanted to focus on getting them right. This also helped us communicate with the crew and the actors and everybody. That way everyone knew exactly what we were trying to do before we even set up the shot. The camera we used is the Panasonic S5 II, and it's rigged with a small rig cage on it. That way we could put a shoulder mount, we could do a matte box, we could mount a battery to the back, and a monitor on top. I wanted a real simple run and gun rig that we didn't have to bother changing lenses. So for the entire thing, I just went with the 50mm f1.2 lens. This works great if you're doing close-ups. You'll get a nice bokeh in the background, and if you want to be far away, you might have to take a couple little steps back, but I think it's worth it. The 50's right there in the middle, and I think it serves the purpose best. I knew there was going to be some props involved in this one, and I'm certainly no stranger to making props myself, but it was just a matter of how I was going to pull it off. The device she wears on her arm is a little bit complicated, and I needed the right things. I started by just rummaging through a bunch of old electrical parts that I had in my basement, and I came across an outlet cover that opens up, and I thought, well, that's perfect. I need something that will be able to open, has a little window on it, so I started with that as my base. I then took some keys out of an old calculator for the number pad that was across the top. For the band, I cut it out of foam and I attached two pieces of Velcro. To make it look like it shouldn't be tampered with, I took apart an old smoke detector and found some little skinny red and black wires in there, and there was a little metal clip that I was able to glue to the foam. That way it looked like if she had been prying at it, it maybe had some sort of a little trigger device that would blow her arm off. As far as the baby doll heads go, I wound up getting those on Amazon, but when they came in the mail, they were really crappy and they looked super cheap, so I knew I had to do something to repaint them, just simply watering down a bunch of black and brown paint and smearing it all over the doll head with a chip brush and then wiping away the excess. And when the paint dries, it sort of spreads out and seeps into all the little cracks and highlights tons of detail. And in the script, I have different symbols painted on the doll's heads, which I just wound up doing by hand. I used a very similar technique with the wash painting that I did for the device on her. It's really helpful and convincing to make the prop look like it's been sitting around in the woods for a couple of weeks. We did some location scouting and we found a hiking trail that was about 20 miles from our house. But what we didn't realize is there's a high speed line that runs right through the center of it. And I mean, every 5 minutes we had to stop filming. It literally felt like we were playing street hockey, where you have to move the net every time a car comes by. It was kind of annoying, but we wound up getting through it. This was the first time I actually put out an ad on a Facebook actors group for the Philadelphia area, and I was able to get tons of interest that way. I was surprised that maybe a dozen or more people commented and sent me their resumes and were interested in being in the project. We did offer to pay a little bit, and I think that certainly helped get some quality candidates, but when the actress showed up, she knew the script like the back of her hand, and she knew all her lines, and that was absolutely fantastic. So I'll definitely be doing that moving forward. For audio, we used a Rode mic that was mounted on a boom pole, and the Rode mic specifically we used because it could pair with our wireless Go 2 system that would send the audio directly back into camera. And I just feel that makes everyone's life easier when you're working in post and the audio is already there and it's already synced, as opposed to putting it on some sort of external recorder. For the sound design, I always use Soundly. It just makes it so much faster. There's such a huge, extensive library of sound effects that are already pre-done. You can literally search footsteps in the woods or branches cracking or whatever you can think of. There's going to be a ton of sounds to choose from, and you can snip them right out of Soundly and drop them directly into your timeline, which I think is an absolute game changer. I initially wanted to put the drone in as kind of a character. I wanted the woodsman, kidnapper guy to be following her around with a drone, and that's how he was going to be keeping tabs on her. but it just wound up being too complicated, and I figured that it didn't really make sense that somebody would be able to perfectly time when to take the drone off, and you only get to keep it in the air for 30 minutes, and like, what if the battery ran out in the middle of your evil scheme? It just didn't work, so I wound up taking it out. Which is kind of a shame because a lot of the drone footage looked pretty cool, and I thought having that elevated angle looking down on her would have added to the suspense. For the hardware store sequence, we actually just showed up at our local Lowe's, didn't ask permission, and just kind of did our thing. The shot that we got following the antagonist was intended to show that he walks with a limp. The way we did that was just mounting a phone to the bottom of another shopping cart and pushed it right behind him. It actually kind of worked. It looks like a real smooth tracking dolly shot, but it's just a phone on a shopping cart. For the workshop sequence, I went up shooting that in my own basement. We lit it practically as much as possible, but we also had these little magnet lights that I could put on the ductwork above the actor, and I could change colors with my phone using an app and Bluetooth, which made it so much easier and faster to work with. For smooth camera movement, I wound up using a Syrup Magic Carpet slider that I got on B&H Photo for about 150 bucks. It's one of the smoothest ones that I've ever used, and for the price, I think it's pretty sweet. For the scene where she solves the code and the device pops open, we didn't actually have a method to have it do that, so we just had the actress hold the lid open and have her hands off camera, and then she drops it. We play that footage in reverse, and it looks like it sprung open. A little bit of sound design really helps sell the effect. Again, it might seem obvious, but sometimes the simple stuff works. The blue vial that holds the antidote that she needed to drink was actually just a little vial we had lying around the house that was full of blue Powerade. I kind of wanted it to be blue because I felt maybe it was like a nod to taking the blue pill in the Matrix, where you just go back into the Matrix. Another problem we ran into while filming was the actress actually broke the prop on the very first take. As soon as she started struggling with it, it literally just ripped the band right off of the prop. Oh shit. Thankfully, we brought a bag with us that was kind of our oh shit bag. It had tape and glue and all sorts of other stuff, but we were in the woods and it was really hot and we were working fast, so I wound up just gaff taping the crap of the bottom of this thing, and in some scenes, if you look closely, you can totally tell that tape is holding it on for dear life, but I don't think anybody's really gonna notice. Overall, the experience was challenging, and you always learn something from filmmaking, and that's why I think I love it. It's kind of like solving a puzzle, and you have to expect things are gonna not go the way you thought they were, and figuring it out as you go is all part of the fun. And if you like this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and maybe even leave a comment. Let us know what you think, or what your struggles were while filming. From everybody at Darkwater, we'll see you in the next one.